Hi, beautiful people. How are you? I hope you're having a great day. If you like learning alternative health initiatives, then this video is for you. I have found it surprisingly interesting. I'm a woman of science, so I need to know the science is there and not just backed up with hogwash. So let's begin. Chronic pain, for clarity, is pain that has lasted for more than 3 months. Pain can be there all of the time or come and go. It can happen anywhere on the body. It can interfere with your daily activities. In fibromyalgia, the muscles and soft tissues all over the body are affected. Today, I'd like to talk about kinesiology. It's manual muscle testing, and I'll explore ART, Autonomic Response Testing, because I found that one to be the most interesting and really grounded in science. So we'll just look at it just kind of briefly and get an understanding. Here we go. Muscle testing is called kinesiology. It's grown in popularity over the last 30 years. When stress or abnormal nervous system input to a muscle occurs, the muscle weakens. During a muscle test, the practitioner applies a force to one muscle or a group of muscles, and depending on the results, the muscle is labeled weak or strong, based on the muscle's ability to relax, to resist that force. I mean, that kind of makes sense to me. I've had a doctor have me hold my arm or leg in a straight position, and they push down on it while telling me to resist them. I think they use that technique, though, to determine if there is weakness in that muscle, how strong we are. Something like what this testing does. I thought muscle testing was just for determining if the muscle is weak or strong, but kinesiology style muscle testing is also used to evaluate nutritional status. That's interesting. To detect imbalances in the meridians and chakras. That's energy healing, and I'll share what I learned about that according to the Holy Bible. Muscle testing is also used to discover the presence of mental or emotional stress and to identify chemical sensitivities and allergies. I'm a little skeptical, but willing to learn and listen. So I hope you stay with me while we learn together. Well, this is a section that's most important to me. What does research say? In a 1999 study, researchers tested semantic congruent and non-congruent muscle stimuli, meaning they tested true and false statements to participants who repeated them. And the muscle was labeled as either strong or weak when the patient spoke the statements. In comparison to when a patient spoke false statements. But the researchers did not state a personal bias, whether that was present or not. In 2000, researchers stated that practitioners with more than 5 years experience can more accurately predict muscle strain. It said 98% of the time compared to 69% of the time for those with less than 5 years. Those are some of the early studies. But later on, researchers found some of the former theories were proven false. However, I found that in 2016, researchers found that therapists during a therapy session could distinguish between false and true spoken statements while using muscle response testing. Honestly, I don't think I'd want my therapist to try to determine if I'm saying something true or false. You want them to believe you at all times. So the point of the therapy is to help the patient with their belief and how they see things, so true or not. But I think this study was more about how accurate muscle testing can be. So let's take a look at what Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt's research says. And he studied holistic and biological medicine together, which has earned him a worldwide recognition for his groundbreaking work in chronic illness, Lyme disease, autism, and more. You can learn more about him and his research at the website called KlinghardtInstitute.com. Dr. Klinghardt studied medicine and psychology in Germany. He also completed a Ph.D. on the involvement of the autonomic nervous system in autoimmune diseases. Early in his career, he became interested in chronic toxicity and the correlation to chronic illness, such as lead, mercury, environmental pollutants, and electromagnetic fields. He is also known for his successful treatments of neurological illness, chronic pain, autism, Lyme disease, and techniques to combine non-surgical orthopedic medicine with immunology, endocrinology, toxicology, and neurotherapy. He's the founder and medical director of the Sophia Health Institute near Seattle, Washington, in the United States. Likewise, on the website is Daniela Diasso. She's the founder of Klinghardt Institute. She has an MSc in neuroscience. She's worked alongside Dr. Klinghardt at his clinic near Seattle, Washington, and worldwide. That particular institute is located in the UK. I know that my autonomic nervous system is out of whack, and yeah, I consider that to be a technical term. Most of us with fibromyalgia have an autonomic nervous system that isn't working up to par. This is a test that I could get behind and would love to find someone who does it. Our autonomic nervous system functions to keep us alive without even the slightest conscious thought. So we want it to run properly. Our autonomic nervous system is a network of nerves throughout our body that control unconscious processes. These are things that happen without us thinking about them, such as breathing and our heart beating. Our autonomic nervous system is always active, even when we're asleep, and it's key to our continued survival. Our bodies were made to self-heal and self-regulate. But when the ANS, autonomic nervous system, is stressed, That's when dysfunction and disease develop. ART, Autonomic Response Testing, is a biofeedback testing developed by Dietrich Klinghardt. When the ANS is stressed, it's called blocked regulation. When the ANS is unable to self-regulate, it's commonly caused by 7 factors, and those are undiagnosed food allergies, heavy metal toxicity, chemical toxicity, chronic unresolved infections, scars, temporomandibular joint dysfunction, or TMJ, unresolved psycho-emotional stress, and electromagnetic stress. That's all very interesting. In ART, there are 5 levels of healing. I'm not going to go into those in this video, but if you'd like to know more, we can do a separate video on that. ART marries together applied kinesiology and biophoton physics and is carried out by noting changes in muscle strength while an organ, gland, substance, or function is being tested. ART does not replace a physical exam, lab work, or imaging techniques, or even good psychological work. That's all good, but it does help the practitioner determine on which of the 5 levels of reality the illness has entered the system or has its origin. This is where I thought, hogwash, but just hear me out for a moment as I continue. This healing approach allows the practitioner to get to the root cause level rather than the level of the symptoms. Heavy metals, toxins, and infections are tested. And we certainly have talked a bit about infections in previous videos, as well as toxins and heavy metals. They determine the priority stressors and which organs and body systems are out of balance. If this is true and honest and real, then why aren't doctors using it? Because this is something that I could get behind, I think. So I'm assuming it's still a very new concept, so it's going to take some time. But once issues are found, then other tests can be ordered, and other solutions and interventions can be used, including food, nutrients, tapping points, which we can look at in another video, lifestyle changes, or other therapeutic interventions. I think my personal understanding of kinesiology scared me a bit in the beginning. The mystification of it is not my cup of tea, but the way that Dr. Klinghardt explains ART takes the mystification out of it and explains it in a medical way that helps me understand the science a bit better. Here's what another practitioner says about ART.
As Autonomic Response Testing, which was developed by Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt, and it is a science-based system form of muscle testing is the one that I use. So it's just another way and tool to test the body. The body was created very intelligently by the Lord God Almighty.
There are different kinds and types of kinesiology tests, and an autonomic response testing is just one of them, but it's the one I find most interesting. There's a lot more to be said. If this is interesting to you, I can do a follow-up video, so please let me know in the comment section below. So I hope you learned something. I send you gentle hugs and support. Love you. Remember that pretty coffee mug that I shared with you that said, pray, pray, pray? struggled with that and a different new one that I bought. The interior of the mug, as you can see, this one's white, made it difficult for me to see when I was filling up the coffee, and I kept overfilling my coffee. I do have a light over there near my coffee pot, but it's not helping. It isn't bright enough. So I've gone back to this coffee mug, which I do love. It's nice and heavy, and I don't tip it over, and I can see to pour my coffee in it. So I have given my coffee mug away to my daughter-in-law and the other one to my daughter. So I hope they enjoy them because I want to bless someone else with the joy that I found in them until I overfilled my coffee.